We're going into this story about Hasan Piker. Now, it's been maybe over a year or so since I've discussed Hasan Piker on the show, but apparently he is under fire in reference to some comments that he made during a Twitch stream about workers. So we're going to show both clips. The clip that I think went viral, we'll start with that one first. Hasan Piker is saying that that clip was taken out of context. So let's start with that first clip, and then we'll get to the clip that Hasan added for context. Now, it starts with this tweet here from Willie Mac Show. He said, this guy makes shit up for 9 hours a day, and his commute to work is walking into his 5th bedroom in his $3 million mansion. But somehow a real job is hard. Okay, so here's that first clip that Hasan Piker says is taken out of context.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So, yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Okay, so that is the clip that I believe went viral. Now, Hasan Piker did come back and add more context. He says, it is wild how this completely out of context clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how much a 9-hour stream eats away at my social battery and how I can't socialize after. Comparing it to my sales job before, I recognize how fortunate I am every day. Now, here is the longer version of that clip for context. Let's play this.
No. Social battery wise, unless you're in fucking retail, it's very different. You're out of touch. I'm going to die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job. Okay. I'm telling you, as someone who did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios.
Okay, let's pause there for just a second and let me chime in for a minute. So I don't stream on Twitch. I streamed there one time. I think it was a Medicare for All discussion, and I just really wasn't fond of the platform. It's just not my style. But I never really understood why some of these Twitch streamers will just stream for like 8-9 hours nonstop. They'll eat in front of the camera with their audience, and they'll do this every day, right? I think Hasan Piker streams every single day. I don't think that that's healthy, but that's a choice. That's what Hasan Piker has to understand. This is Jink Uger from the Young Turk's nephew, okay? Hasan Piker doesn't have to stream 9 hours a day, every day. That's a choice that he made. If he wants to increase his social, I don't know, a lifestyle or whatever, you're going to have to cut back on some of the streaming. Because what happens is you become accustomed to talking to people online, and therefore at the end of all of it, the last thing he probably wants to do is go hang out with friends or something like that and grab a drink. If he drinks, I don't know. But it's a choice. It's not like you're being forced to do this job. That's the thing that really just is weird to me. Let's go back into it a little bit more here. I don't know how people do this, not do that 9 hours a day. I don't get it.
Taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point. Like, there are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type shit. But like if you're an accountant or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it.
But you don't have to do this for 9 hours, and you don't have to do it at all. You could leave this all together and just get an everyday job. I mean, like I waited tables, right? So I waited tables and I worked retail. At one point, I was doing both. I waited tables at night and I worked retail during the day. I don't recommend that. Anyhow, in that reference, he's correct when he says that those jobs can kind of wipe you out too, because by the time at the end of the night, like after waiting tables, I just wanted to go home and like just put my feet up or something like that, right? But the point is, he's talking about this as though he has to do it. He does not have to. What has happened, though, is I think that people like Hasan Piker, who have made a lot of money. Remember, there was people like talking about his $1 million house or whatever. So he has become accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. And now to keep up that lifestyle, that's why he feels like he has to stream for 9 hours every day. So what would have been the better thing to do? Not try to keep up with the Joneses. Maybe not go out and buy $1 million home or $3 million. I think it's $3 million. Maybe not purchase a $3 million house. Because let's be real. The bigger the house, the higher the utility bill. Hello. I don't have a big house. The bigger the house, the more money you got to pay with some of these other bills. So just because you made that money doesn't mean you have to go spend that money. I wouldn't have bought a $3 million house. So that is why he feels like he has to stream 9 hours a day, every day. That's not healthy. And I'll say this to all of you guys. If you ever want to start your own show, please don't do that. Please don't sit in front of a camera for 9 hours a day and just stream all day and eat in front of the camera. And that's not healthy. Go outside, touch grass, literally touch grass. Go socialize with people in person. It really is not healthy to do that 9 hours a day, every day, because online socializing is not the same as socializing with people in person. Let me let him finish here.
Yeah, think about it this way. Like, you give presentations for your job, right? Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like, after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk ever again.
So that's a good question there, Eric. Eric said, what the hell is he talking about for 9 damn hours? So my sister told me, because my sister watches Twitch a lot, my sister told me that sometimes, like, they're not saying anything. She said sometimes they're just sitting there reading the chat. I'm like, really? And people just sit there and watch people read. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, maybe it's a younger person thing, but I don't get it. Now, Glenn Greenwald actually had some things to say about this, because Glenn Greenwald actually described it as sickly left liberal streaming culture. And Glenn is going to call out his hour count because Glenn doesn't think he's streaming 9 hours a day.
When he's saying he's online for 9 hours a day, I mean, it's not an exaggeration. This is what we showed you last week as well with a different streamer. But here right now, when we went on live on the air and grabbed this statistic of his last number of days streaming, he was online right then. He had been online for 4 hours and 25 minutes. I assume he's still going. He's live. Then yesterday, the 25th, he was on for 6 hours. The 24th, 5 hours and 25 minutes. The 23rd, 9 hours and 55 minutes. The 22nd, 9 hours. The 21st, 8 hours and 40 minutes. The 20th, 10 hours and 50 minutes. Let
me pause here for a second. Guys, 10 hours? That is insane. That is insane. Oh my God.
18th, 11 hours. The 18th, 7 hours and 30 minutes. That is insane. He streams every single day, all day. Most of his waking life is devoted to sitting online, talking for an audience.
Let's pause here for a second. You know what that means, guys? Like, when you do that, people get accustomed to you doing that. So Twitch audience is different from YouTube audience and vice versa. So people on Twitch, if you're streaming every day, they expect to see you every day. So it probably wasn't a good idea for him to start that type of culture anyway. I don't stream every day. I sure as hell don't stream for 9 hours. No, that's not healthy. And everybody needs to take breaks. But what this is really about is the fact that he basically built up a certain type of lifestyle off of the money he was able to make. He's one of the top Twitch streamers, from what I understand. And now, in order to maintain that lifestyle, he has to continue doing this. So you basically have become a slave to your own creation. I wouldn't want to live that way. Would you?
And that's what these streaming communities are, because these people who follow them and who are in them need it. It's like their sustenance. They have to be available all day, every day. This is what these people do. And in a certain way, I guess this was the point that we were making. This is the reason why these communities are so sickly and so unhealthy.
Yep.
Because if you are spending that much time of your life online, performing for an audience, desperately needing feedback constantly, and when I was watching some of the content about this controversy, part of it was showing how, like, he supposedly went on a vacation to Italy, was going to take off, and because people were saying things about him on some forum, he ended up spending his entire vacation online, ranting and raving and screaming and yelling about people criticizing him into a camp. This is extremely unhealthy behavior. Extremely unhealthy behavior. And the communities that are being spawned based on this ethos that hundreds of thousands and millions of people are dedicating their lives to and deriving their identity from is extremely destructive.
One thing I want to add here as well, I really worry about the Gen Z generation, the younger generations that are spending most of their time socializing online and not in person. Now, I'm a millennial, so, like, you know, I didn't grow up with a smartphone. Let's just put it that way, right? So I do worry, because I feel like even though they're getting a lot of interaction across the interwebs, so to speak, I feel like they're incredibly lonely. Because there's a difference between communicating with someone on Twitter or Facebook, etc., and actually communicating with that person in person or over the phone. Even over the phone, I feel like people don't really like talking on the phone as much anymore, right? But except for us older millennials. But I just feel like that is not healthy, and I don't feel like that's good for you. And I often wonder, are some people doing this because they are still in the pandemic mindset? So for those of us that lived in states that were locked down, like my state of Massachusetts was locked down, I wonder if some people just still haven't broken away from that mindset of we have to do everything remotely and we have to, you know, keep our distance. That makes me wonder as well. But in Hasan's case, I think Hasan was just trying to get paid, and he made a lot of money doing what he did. But in order to keep that money coming in like that, he has to continue to do this every day. No one should work every day. No one. If it was up to me, I would say 4-day work week in the United States, okay? Just like Iceland. If it were up to me, you guys would only have to work 4 days a week. You would have a 3-day weekend. How does that sound? But I worry about this culture. I worry about that.
And it's why we have so much mental health pathology. Here from the Economic Times on December 14th of 2023, you see the headline, Gen Z is addicted to YouTube. A Pew survey finds 1 in 16 visit the video sharing portal daily. Quote, 71% of teens said they visit YouTube at least daily. 16% described their usage as, quote, almost constant. According to the survey, YouTube remains by far the most popular social platform among teens, with 93% responding that they use the service. Here from the journal Attitude in March of 2022, internet addiction may indicate other mental health problems.
Let's pause here for a second. I also think some of the YouTube usage could be due to the fact that a lot of people don't watch cable anymore. A lot of people I know have, they canceled their cable subscription. So that could be part of it too, where instead of watching cable, people are just watching YouTube. Could be part of it.
Adults who spend an unhealthy amount of time online are more likely to demonstrate symptoms of depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions, a new research study suggests. So that might explain why some guy who's 30 years old or 35 years old, whatever he is, who has been making many millions of dollars a year, who has bought a big mansion in Los Angeles, who rides around on private jets, who has the lifestyle of a single man who's an online celebrity who goes to concerts all over the world and parties all over the world and talks about his celebrity friends. That is why he could get to the point where he's saying, this job is killing my soul. I mean, think about how serious that is. That's because he spends 10 to 12 hours online. And the problem is that these communities are based on that. Because they need, the people who are followers of theirs need this constant available access to their communities because it provides them their sense of worth and their identity and self-esteem.
Yep.
And it's not something it merits kind of condescending judgment, but concern and pity. Quote, spending an unhealthy amount of time online may indicate problems above and beyond internet addiction, a new study finds. Specifically, adults who spend the majority of their waking hours online may be at higher risk for depression, anxiety, or other mental health problems. For example, like adults who spend 10 to 12 hours a day online getting constant feedback about whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're loved, whether they're hated, to the point that they can't even go on vacation and travel without getting back onto line and screaming and yelling all day from a hotel room about why the people criticizing them are evil and stupid.
This is part of the reason why I come up with a little bit of rules myself. Like I used to be on social media a lot. Like I used to just scroll through Twitter constantly, right? And I had to, stop myself from doing that. So I limit the amount of time that I spend on social media. I limit the amount of time that I'm on like some of these forums, etc. I don't do Twitter Spaces for this very same reason. Also, I just don't. I'd rather get together with a group of people and have conversations like in person instead of all these online conversations. Also, a lot of times I don't know these people. A lot of these people don't even have their picture like in their profile. I don't know if that person is who they say they are. And there might be some ops in this space. Okay. So you never know. But I just think that I worry about that. I will also add to one thing. I think Glenn may mention it earlier in the video. Another thing I want to add about this, it is not healthy for you to sit for that long either. So I'm pretty sure during these 9-hour streams, at some point, they have to get up and use the restroom. I know my sister said they eat on these streams and things like that as well. But sitting for a long time actually is not good for your back. It's not good for your posture. It's not good for, your hips. It's good to get up and move around. So I worry about that too. Like people just sitting for like 9 hours, like straight or whatever. But I think, the comment that was made there by Hasan Piker, I think obviously that one clip was taken out of context, to be fair. But I do think that the way that he talked about it, it was framed as though he has to do this, and he doesn't have to. He could sell that $3 million house, get a cheaper house, and he could stream for only 4 days a week instead of 9 days a week. That's how I see it. And it's good to take breaks. Everybody needs to take breaks.